Hello, good afternoon everyone. Hello. Good afternoon. Yep. Is my voice audible clearly, guys? Yep, today is last day. Just let me know if my voice is audible clearly so we can move ahead. Yep. Okay. So let me have my setup ready. So today in day 7, okay, so we'll see some basic things which were left. Create element. Exam and all I'll explain at the end of the session. Today it will be just we'll be building 3 projects. 3, yep, maybe 2 or 3, max 3, minimum 2 we are doing. First of all, I'll show you how can you make a drag drop feature, like drag a image from one div and place it in another div. Second, we'll see a simple to do app, and then I'll show you some basic form validation using JavaScript. Regex part, I'll just introduce you to what regex is, because it is a very vast concept, like you will have to learn how to make patterns and everything. So I'll just give a small introduction and then you can learn about it more in our advanced program. Okay, so how many guys do we have with us? We have 187 students. Low volume. Just a minute. Let me check my sound. Okay, is my voice audible clearly now? Just let me know if my voice is audible very clearly. I guess now it shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so I'll have my basic HTML ready. Day 7. Okay, great. So now we'll just begin. Okay, clear. Okay, great. So now let me have a script file here. Index.js. Let me open this in live server. Okay. First we'll look at some concepts which were remaining. As I said, when DOM manipulation, forgot to zoom the screen. We saw like how you can change CSS properties and all. I'll just, if you want a quick revision, we had used class name here. There was one way where I showed you how you can use CSS, how you can change CSS properties using JavaScript, set attribute, class list and all. So now there is one more thing in which you can create new elements inside the DOM, the create element and remove element thing. So we'll just see that today to like begin with. So yep, let's begin and just check if our index file is working. Console.log. Hello. So yep, it's working. VS Code, you need more zoom. Is this much okay, guys? This much okay? Voice is little low. Full. Anything from OBS? OBS is also full, guys. Hello, 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 hello. Yep, okay. So just let me close down unnecessary tabs, and yep. Okay, so now we'll just dive in, and first of all there is like two things. Like suppose we have, I'll make a small list here. Okay, now just focus on the screen. Suppose I have a small list, an unordered list of an items, because we are going to make a project of the same. So suppose we have an ID of list. Now this is going to be a list, and inside that we will have, by default I'll create 3 elements called as apple, mango, and orange. Now we have, and let me just write something here, h4 fruits. Okay, so now basically what we will do using JavaScript is, now as you can see we don't have any li tag extra here. Using JavaScript, what we are going to do is we are going to create an li tag, and then we are going to append it inside here. First I'll show how append works, then I'll show how you can insert that element into any position. Like you can insert it at first, you can insert it in between. How you can do that, we'll look at that now. So for that, first we'll have in our index, I think fine. Okay, so yep, first we'll look at what is create element. Okay, now I'll show how this works. Suppose I have this el tag and I want to go and create an element. So I'll do document dot create element, and inside this I'll pass what element I want to create. Suppose I want to create a div tag. Okay, now I'll just console dot log this el, and you can see we have created a div tag here. Now similarly you can do any tag, image tag or span tag, any tag which you want you can create using this create element thing. Just let me refresh my chat once. Okay, so now first of all we need to have this list where we want to go and change that thing. So I'll get that list, const list is equal to document dot, we'll use query selector, and inside this I'll pass the ID which was list. Yep, now we have this list inside this list item, and now what we'll do is we'll create a function, because we don't want to write each and every time create element, create element, create element. Okay, so what I will do is we'll create a function for that. For that, what I will do is I will make a function called as create element, and in that what I'll pass is the type of element I want to make, and it will return me document dot create element, and it is going to return me whatever element I am asking it to create. So now I have to just call this function with suppose div or image or list, and it is automatically going to create that element. Just a minute. So yep, what is the purpose of creating this element? From using this you can dynamically create and push elements on your web page, like each and every node you can do using this. So now we have this function. So now I am going to create, suppose now what all we need, First of all we need an list element, so list create element, and I want a list, so I'll pass list here. So now if I do console.log, li, we are going to see this list here. I am just seeing comments as my voice is low. Just a minute. Okay, so this is how you can create element, and then if I want to suppose put it inside this tag, I want to append this inside this list, all I have to do is use the append child method, because as I said, if you look at this structure, this ul is the parent and then it has three children, and if I want to put another element, I will use the method as append child, and inside that I will pass the list which I have just created. This much clear till now? If we go and just see, now in this element tag, I'll just keep this open. Now in this li we have three things. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll just get hold of this list dot append child, and I am going to pass this element we just created, and if I save and I again go and look at in the web page also, you can see that we have this empty list item generated right here. If it is visible now, you can see that empty list item is generated here when we did append child. So now we want something inside this element. So what you can do is you have to just go and use inner HTML or inner text, and it is going to do that thing. Suppose I am okay, now this much is like we have done element, we have created element. So let's change this into some, how you use your hyperlink. So let me just change the whole example to links, and I'll just write here suppose Google, so you can understand how you can do the nested part also. I'll just take up that example. This fruit one is okay, Google. Okay, just a minute. We will have li, and then inside we will have a tag. Okay, and then I'll have Google right here. Similarly, I'll have Yahoo, and they are going to redirect to HTTPS. Google.com. This is going to redirect at HTTPS yahoo.com. Okay, now we have two of this right here. Now we'll try to add another link. Now this I have showed using link because in case you want to use, just a minute guys, just hold on a minute, I'll be back. Okay, so yep, so now we'll go, now just observe on this tag, observe on this page. I'll just write the code right here. Okay, so now we have created an li tag, but inside a li tag we also need to create an a tag. So I'll also create that using this function. Let a is equal to create element, and then we want an a tag. So now we have two elements created. Now we have appended the list with an li tag, but we also need to append the list item with an a tag. So I'll do that also. Li dot append child, and then I want to pass the a tag. So now if I go and look in the structure, I will have three li tags, and I have this empty a tag generated right here. Okay, so now I want to put some text inside that. So I'll grab of get hold of this a tag right here, a variable which has this a tag, and inside that I'll change the inner HTML to suppose YouTube, and I'll hit save. Now you can see that I have this YouTube right here, but I also want to add the link, and as we have studied yesterday that href was an attribute of a. So what I can do is I can just go and do set attribute on this a tag, and the name of the attribute I want to set is href, and the value I want to give is https:/youtube.com. So now if I just go, and it will redirect me to YouTube. So now you can see how we have, using JavaScript added and added an element. So now by default we appended this element at the end of the list, but what if I want to add it at the start of the list? So to do that, we have something called as append insert before. So now insert before, what it will take is the element which you want to insert and where you want to insert it. So let's look at that now. So let me fix the semicolons. Yep. So now suppose I have this list and I want to insert before. Yep. Now insert before, if you see, you will see that new child. Now it is asking the element which I want to add. The element which I want to add is the li tag, and now where I want to add, it is going to, like, we'll have to get the position. So I'll just create a position. I can directly write here. If you want to directly write here, you can just write document dot get element by all the list we have. So it will be a list get element by tag name, and then I'll pass the tag name which is li. Now this is get elements by tag name. As you can see, it's plural. It is going to return me a collection. So inside of that, it returns HTML collection, if you know. Now inside that, I want to place it before the first element, so that's why I'm putting 0 here. Okay, now if I go and hit save, then you can see that we have this element before first. Now like this, I can just change the position and it is going to align it wherever I ask it to. Is this much clear? How we have added the element as per our need. Now this functionality you can use to add links to your website dynamically. This much clear? What is a tag? A tag is used to add hyperlinks to your website. It's a basic HTML tag. Guys, this much clear till now? Okay. Now similarly, what if I want to remove? Now we have learned how to insert a tag. Now what if I want to remove? So now there is something called as remove child. So I'll just browse through this property, remove child. Now what it will take is the child you want to remove. Okay, so now what I want to remove, suppose I want to remove this second element, which is YouTube. Okay, YouTube we made. So let's remove this third element called as Yahoo. So what I will do is I will just copy this array which it returns. Okay, it needs the position as well, and 0 1 2. So now you can see that we have removed this third element from the website, but on the HTML it is still present, Yahoo. But on the DOM it is not present because we have removed it using our JavaScript code. A is not an attribute, A is a tag, and A has attributes such as target, href, and class, whatever, class ID. So those are the attributes. I guess this much is clear till now. So let me know if this much is clear. What if we want the Google to place at last? You can just add it at the end. Okay, so now we'll just go to forms. Our forms was pending, so just let us go and take a look at forms. Okay, now I'll just close this. Day 6, I'll just have a separate folder for forms. also just let me run this upon live server. Now, is it possible to update the text? Yes, you can update the text using inner HTML. You have to set that. You have to get that element list item and just change the text. Yep, inner text content, inner HTML. If you want to just change the formatting, use the inner HTML and it will load that template, HTML template there. Okay. Just the console. And now we'll look at forms. Okay, my file is not loading. Console.log forms. Yep. Okay, so now I'll have a basic form in HTML. So those who know basic HTML, that is okay, but those who don't know, don't get scared. A very basic form I'll create. Form. Currently I don't want to pass anything, and then this is going to have an ID of my form and also name as my form. Or okay, so now I'll have some div element to separate things. And inside this I am going to have label for name. Now this is some rough sketch I am doing. Input text name is equal to name, ID is equal to name. Email and email. Okay, then we'll have something called as a submit button right here, which is going to submit that form. Input type is equal to submit. Now you can also do this using button, which will look later. Name is equal to submit, value is equal to submit. So we have this thing, and just let me put some name, email and the submit button. Okay, so now we'll just go and look at how to get values from this form, how you can get whatever is inserted in this and whatever is inserted in this. So we'll just go to JavaScript, and before that, just know that we have named our form my form, and also ID I have given as my form. Okay, so now if I have loaded this page, right? So if I do in the console itself, if I do document.forms and I give the name of that form, that is my form, it is going to return me the form which I just created. Okay, now this is the form we just made and it is returning me the whole form. Similarly, you can also get it using that get element by ID. So for now I am just going to do it using this, and I'll have a besides this, before that ends, I'll have another div which will have a span tag or maybe a p tag with a style of color red and an id of message. Now this is going to show some error. Now this is just basic, I am just going to show you at now. Okay, so this is HTML part, and now we'll go to JavaScript. Now first of all we need to get the form. Okay, so now how you can get the form? As I told, you can either have it using, suppose I am writing form, or maybe the what our form does is suppose login, so I'll name it that way, login form. And the first way, as I told you, is just grab it using document.forms and then give the name of your form, which is my form. This was the first way. Okay, so now second way I'll show you is just const login form is equal to document dot okay, spelling mistake, const document dot get element by id, and I can also fetch it using my form. So we have this form right here. If I just go and do login form, it is going to return me this form. Okay, this much clear. Also we'll get that error message where we want to print with an id of image. So I will just get it const message is equal to document dot get element by id message. Now we have the form and the message tag with us. This much clear, guys, till now what I have done? Okay, so now I'll just go and add an event listener to log. Okay, so one more way, you can add events. First of all, we saw that you can directly write functions like on click and or on click, on mouse over, and all that directly in the script file right here, sorry, in the HTML file right here. Another way we saw is we could call the function here and define the function in JavaScript file. Third way we saw that you can just use on submit, like name that login form and put on submit and do that thing. And another way is you can use this add event listener. Okay, so now what this does is it takes two parameters. First is the name of the event you want to do, and second it will take a callback function. Now callback function is generally defined as like this. Now it is going to take a callback function, and in which you can pass an event parameter. Now what this event parameter is, on whatever tag it is called, it is passed here. That whole object is passed inside this. So now we are just going to use this thing. So now I'm just keeping it right here. So my name of the form is login form dot add event listener, and then what I'll do is on submit I want something to happen, so I'll do submit, and then I'm passing something as event, and now I'll do console.log event. Now we'll check what happens. I'll just write my name Prasad and suppose p@gmail.com. If I go and submit, okay, it refreshed automatically. So okay, so let's first prevent this default behavior. So if you saw, I just submitted a button and it just went off, so that is the default behavior of that form. So to avoid this from happening, so to prevent it from behaving like that, you can just get hold of this event which we passed right now here, the event object, and you can just tell it, please prevent your default behavior. Okay, so you must have seen this in a lot of code, and it tells that by default it will stop whatever it does. So now if I just try to pass Prasad and p.gmail, you can see that the name has not vanished, it is still there, and now I have this event which has many elements such as bubbles, cancel bubble, compost, current target, and then we have target. So now we'll go into target, and if you see in target we have three things: two things, that is input of id name, input of id email. So what we want first, let's try and get from the target. Inside of target we'll go first, target, and I just want the name. So now I'll just hit Prasad and p.gmail. So now I am getting the tag, but I just want the value of that particular field and not the whole tag. So I'll just write value right here. Okay, and now if I just go and write something and just submit, now you can see I have got the value whatever I have written here. If I just go and type some thing, and I'm just getting that thing again. Okay, so is this much clear how you can get the values from the form? Is this much clear, guys? Is this much clear? Okay, so one more thing, when we were doing document.getElement by id or getElement by class name or whatever, I was seeing in doubts that you were asking that how you can use dot value. For dot value you need to have form proper, like form input fields. Similarly, you can get this properties using document.getElement by id if you have particular id, right? If you have this id here, email, so you can also get that value using document.get. Okay, I'll just show you. What we'll do is document.getElement by id, and instead of fetching it from forms, I'll fetch it via id. I'll write email and then I'll put value. Now you can see that I have fetched this value using getElement by id method and not this forms method, target.name. So it is the same way you can grab the elements. Yep, same way to get the email. If I want to log the email, I'll just write email and I'll pass something, and the email is logged to the console. Okay, so let's not do this thing, let's do some basic validation. So just let me comment this part, and we have, okay, so now what we'll do is we'll check if on submit button, if login form dot name dot value, okay, dot name dot value is empty or not. Like suppose the name is empty, the form, like it should show something, like it should show some error, is empty. Okay, if this is empty, we'll just do a small thing. We have this message, okay, we have this message, and in this I'm just going to pass name is not empty. Okay, so let's just go and try this. Okay, so as you can see, I have not written anything, I've just kept it blank, and I'm trying to submit it, and it is showing some error that name is not empty. Name should not be empty. Yep, now it's correct. And if I write something and I submit, it is not showing me error. Similarly, you can do for email and all the other forms. Now this is just some basic validation I have shown you right here. Now did you understand like how you can check for validations using JavaScript? This is not the regex part. Regex part I'll just show you a small introduction to regex later. So using JavaScript, how you can do this thing, is it clear? Just put up in the chat. Okay, so you can also check the length of the, like suppose you are asking some password or your name, that length, you can also check the length property using this, or you can just store these values. Okay, I'll just take one more example. Just let me, okay. So now just let me have another way. We will look at another way of validating our forms. So I'll just close this. This was just the basics, and I'll have another folder altogether to keep the clutter separate. Form 2. Index.html. okay, it's already 3:11. Index.html, just speed up a little. Now I'll just take two fields, the same HTML. I can actually copy it. Where is it? Just copy it, and below this I'll have a script. Just close this, and I'll open this part. How to make a input in password format which does not show, that you can do using JavaScript. HTML provides that. For now I have, okay, if you want to see, okay, so let me just tell you one thing. By default HTML5 also provides some basic validations. So okay, just let me show you a demo of that also. So now I have just written, I will have one more field here called password, and this will be password. Okay, so now by default, if you see that, okay, password, and then I'll put password and password here. So now if I just go and write anything and I go and submit, now you can see it is not validating or it is not doing anything. So by default HTML also provides some basic validation. So name you can keep as text. Then for email you can use the email type, and for password you can use the password type. Now if I just go and write my email, it is, now if I don't write correct email and I try to submit, it is going to give me an error that please include @ in the email address. Similarly, if I go and type password, now you can see it is coming in symbols. Yeah, there is required, now there is autocomplete off. Those are all HTML parts, so I'm not covering it here. Like if you want to make sure that your div needs to be filled, like your input should be filled compulsorily, you can use HTML and write required. There is read only. There are many properties, that is HTML part. So I'll just remove what I did, text, and yep, email, password for pass. Okay, so now what we'll do is, till here everything clear? Just let me know till now here everything is clear or not. So instead of, another way you can check your validation is, we have this form right here. I'll call the function directly here as well, or you can, let's have it right there only, console.log forms2. Whatever we are learning in validation part, it's just very basics part, it's not the complete validation. Okay, so now if I want to store, let's have, so now what will happen is, in previous file what we did was, we called an on submit button right here, login form dot add event listener, this submit button, sorry, submit event, and then it is going to do all these things on that. Another way you can do is login form dot on submit to call the event, which we did in previous lecture. So we'll do using that now. Okay, can we store form information in class like user.name? Yes, you can do that. I'm just going to show you how you can store it in separate variables and then use that variables directly below. For that, let me just make it simple. Instead of doing there, I will just write on submit here only, on submit, and now it is going to return. Now what we are going is, we are creating a validation function, and it is going to return me whatever it whatever validation it processes, and if it's true it will return true, if it's false it will return false. And one more thing is the form is only submitted when every like on submit returns true. So if some in code if I return false anywhere in the between, the form will not submit and it will show the error which I am going to write here. So below this span I'll make a separate. So for example, let's have only this username part. Okay, yep. So now let's have name to show you. I'll have this span tag with the ID of message and style of color red. Now I am showing this internal because we are just writing CSS. You can use frameworks and directly write class here. So now we have this one part. So now I'll go and get this and store it in a variable. So how you can do is I'll just write clear. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to just go and create a function. So what is the name of the function we are trying to call is validation function. So I'll do function validation, and inside this I am just going to create the variables I am going to require. Suppose I want const user name, and inside it, using as I showed you, you can get the value using get elements by ID only. So similarly we are going to get the value. So document, okay, document dot get element by ID, and inside this I am going to pass, what was the ID, name, I'm going to pass the name. So now we have, okay, some error index.js3, okay, parenthesis, I missed on parenthesis, now it's okay. Yep. So now what I want to do is I want to check if this username is empty or not. Similarly I can do is if, suppose let's check if username is equal to empty. Now as we did before, and also I'll get, okay, let's do it, const message is equal to okay. So now we have fetched the username using dot get element by ID dot name dot value. This was missing, else it will return us the tag. So yep. So if I go and do message dot inner HTML and I put username cannot be empty, and this is going to return false. Okay, so now if I just go and try, it will show me an error and the form will not be submitted. So now it's submitted. Just see whether it's reloading or not. When I'm submitting an empty form, the page is not reloading, like the form is not been submitted. If I write something and then hit, the page reloads. Okay, just wait a minute. The first try, something placeholder, just let me hot reload it. Yep, not found Prasad. If username equal to this, submit, give that error. Okay, now this is giving this error. Similarly, if I am trying to check if username dot length is less than 4, do the same thing and write something new error. Should be username cannot be less than 4 characters. So if I write PRA, now you can see we have got a different message. Username cannot be less than 4 characters. So now this I have shown using this thing. Now similarly, if I uncomment this part, now what I'll do is I'll write here name message. Then you have to have this same div right here, which is going to be your email message, and the same div right here, which is going to be your pass message. And then instead of fetching here, you can just keep getting it here, and what you can do is you can just directly do document dot, or you can just, instead of this, you can do name message and name message. Okay, so now username cannot be empty. So similarly, if I want to look for, let's have our email also here, email. So if email is equal to blank, so do the same thing, but now it is going to give the error in email message. Email cannot be empty, and it is going to give me an error. Now you can see it has given me the first error. Now I'll fill this form and I'll hit enter. Now it is giving me that second error, email cannot be empty. So if I fill something, and then it will go and submit the form. Is the basic validation clear? How you can check for each and everything? Is basic validation clear? Just let us check this thing. If email dot includes @ do some, let's try this. Okay, I am hoping it is going to give me an error. Let's see. Okay, then I am passing Prasad and I am submitting. Email should not be empty. Now I am passing email without a, okay, told you submit, just giving me an error. Email dot to string, just let me try and convert it into string. Nope, something, there's some other way. Basic validation clear. How to make a website that will send all the information entered by user to its email. You have to pass the path where you want to send that data right here, action, where you want that data to go. Now there is some computing done. This is not working, don't know why. Okay, this maybe that was the issue. Yep, I guess then this is also not required. Let's check. Thank you guys for that, just missed out on that. Yes, email should contain a @ symbol, so you can usually actually check for each and everything. Similarly, if there is phone number, yep, so even similarly, if there is phone number, you can write is nan and check if it's number or not. Okay, so now this is some basic validation in JavaScript, and every time it will return false, it is not going to submit the form. It is going to stay on the same page and throw the error. Okay, so now the next thing we'll do is I'll start with a small project or to-do list. Now it is not much of like logic in that, but a small project. So I'll have index.html, and that will have our to-do list. Just let me load this. Action attribute specifies the path where you want that all data to go. It's actually, you can pass the route or the URL where you want that data to be sent, and there is a method attribute to that as well, post or get. Okay, so now let's go and start with the project. So now I have like 2 projects I am going to show you today. It's already 3:30, so we'll do 2 projects. First is a simple to-do app, and second is a drag drop feature, like you can drag one image and put it into another block, and it is going to get copied. I'll explain the logic also behind that. Okay, so first we'll do a simple to-do app. So let me have, we'll need a, okay, h2, my to-do list. So this is the thing, and below that, everything till now clear, guys? The basic validation. Let me know once, so I'll move ahead. Just let me know if it is clear. Yep. Okay, great. So now for this, what we are going to require is a form, and then a button, and then an empty list which is going to, you know, hold all our list items. Okay, so let me just create a form with action as nothing. You can just leave it blank also, and inside this form, as usual, I'll name it id my form, and this input of type text. Okay, everything clear, and id name is not required, and using id, because I am going to fetch it using id, I am not taking the name part. The list input type should be, for this should be what I can write here. Okay, the to do item, or maybe just a to do, and it should have a thing, and then I'll have this button, input type as button, and inside it should have an id of btn. Let's make it button, and I'll write add item. Add item. So now we have this basic thing here, and below this form I will have a list, an ordered list with an id of list. So now our basic HTML is ready. What is the difference between use of name and id? Name, it is like a specified name for that input field. You can use that forms, when we use that forms method, no, you can actually traverse using that name field, and when you want to fetch it using that DOM methods, id is the unique identity of that. And if you go and check, like if you go and use the input types as checkbox, there you are going to see that many of the elements will have the same name. Okay, add some CSS in this. I'm not going to add some CSS, I know it's very rough. So currently we'll have this, and then I'll have a script src index.js. Okay, and console.log hello. Now we'll just go step by step and also look at the logic behind this. Okay, so first of all, what we want to do is, okay, hello is there. Now there are 3 steps. Okay, we'll look at step 1. First, what we want to do is, whenever user writes something and hits this click button, sorry, add item button, we have to get that value, and inside we have to create an element, a list item, using the method we just learned some time before, and we have to push it inside this ordered list. So first is to fetch all these things. Like first we'll need to get hold of this input field and this button. So for that, the IDs are, this input field is of to do, okay. So first of all, we need to, just a minute, yep. So we'll need to get hold of this button which is going to act, and then list, and inside the function we'll get hold of this input field. Okay, whatever value is coming inside this, inside this we'll get hold of inside a function. So first of all, let's go to a JavaScript file, and then I'll create 2 variables, const a button is equal to document dot query selector. Now I guess you are familiar with how to use query selector and get element by ID. Similarly, we have const list is equal to document dot, just have this query selector, and inside this I am going to have it as a list. So we have done the first step, we have got hold of those 2 elements. Now on this button, okay, on this button element, which is we have targeted, where is the button, yep, this with an ID of button. On when we click this button, we want something to happen, and what is that something is, we want to add that item whichever is present here inside our list. So we'll do button dot on click, and then I'll write a function. Okay, so now I am just showing you various methods. You can also write the same above thing using button dot add event listener, and in this case you have to skip this on part and just pass here click and the callback function. Okay, or maybe if you want to write in the similar way, it will be something as function and this. Now this is the same syntax I have written of calling the click function. Okay, so I am going to use the previous one, just keep it here. So inside that, first what we have to do is we have to get hold of that item. Item refers to whatever is, like suppose I am writing potato here. If I am writing potato here, now this potato becomes an item. Okay, so item, I'll write document dot query selector, and inside this I am going to pass, what was the name, to do, and we need the value of that to do. So now we have, okay, node value, we don't need the node value, we just need the value. Okay, so now we have the value inside this item thing. So now what I want to do is I'll just go and create an element. Now that element should be a list item because we are writing inside a list, so I'm naming it that way. List item, what I want to create is an element of this item, okay, and which is going to be a list. So document dot create element, let me hide this, create element, and inside that I am going to pass a list. Okay, so now we have reached this step, we have created an element. This much clear, guys? And now what I am going to do is list item path, just don't spam. So yep, now list item we have, and inside this list item what we want to do is I want to append the list item. Okay, so first I'll go to list, and then I want to append child. What I want to append is the list item. So now this is not going to work as expected. Okay, if I just go and hit, now it is just going away. The reason is it returns a node value. Now we have to convert it into text node. Okay, that's why I have intentionally kept it like this. So before that we'll have to convert into a text string. So let text is equal to whatever we have received here, this item part, we'll have to first convert it into a text value, document dot create text node, and then I'll have to pass this item here. Now we have this text value of that. Now instead of append child list item, first I have to append that text into this list item. Okay, list item dot append child text. So if I just write potato and add, it's going away. Just what have we written that it's disappearing? Just let's add this and check. Yep, now it is working as a button and not a submit thing. So yep, now we have our to-do list. So I have potato here. If I am getting get some fruits and I'm hitting on add item, it is getting added. Please explain again when done. So what we have basically done is we have taken whatever the input is coming here, we have taken its value. So if you want, I'll show you how this value looks. Console.log item. Okay, so I'll have my console up, I'll write potato. Now it is potato also, I'll write type. Let's see what it's returning. Basically before using this value, you need to create it into a text node, because as I said, when you look at the DOM, now this is a body, it will have some children, and then there are this attribute node, and similarly there are this text nodes. Whatever inside it is also is known as a text node. Okay, so let's see what it returns to us. Returning string. So we have to create a text node for this, which is this inside part, and when we have done creating a text node for that item, then you can add that text node inside your list item, and then add that list item to your list. List is nothing but your ordered list here, which I have created using this OL. Okay, I have used OL list only. After it's added, you can just write there should be a called as reset. Let's see if that works. Document dot forms dot, it was the name of the form, my form dot, there is some method called as reset or clear. Just let me verify it. Form dot reset. Okay, just let us do that. Or you can just set the value to empty string. Let me check if this works. I am not sure if this is going to work. Yep, that is working fine. Query selector basically will return you the first value it finds. Now if you are running this query selector on a class, like if there are some multiple elements which have a class of class of list item, list one, like the same class. Now what it will do is it will query through all and it will return you the first occurrence and it will not search the below items. Basically if you want to fetch the first item matching that query, you can just use query selector, and query selector all you can use when you want to get an node list as an return value. How to connect JS to DB, that you will all learn in our mean stack program, which are launching very soon, all the advanced concepts. Okay, for that you can just enroll in our advanced program if you want to learn the mean stack thing. Till now everything clear, guys? Till now everything clear? Now there is one doubt, what is the use of text node? Okay, so another explanation I'll give. So basically when you create an HTML element, that is, this is the element node of that part and this is the text node of that part of that element. Okay, this is the element node and this is the text node. First you need to create a text node for that element and then you can add it. I appended list item because I wanted to add it at the very end, right? Now it is append. How you use append in array or any other program, it adds that at the end of that array. So I am just, whatever I am writing, if I am again writing potato, it is just going to add. Console the text. I already consoled the it is returning as a string in double quotes because it's a text node. Now it won't let you add because, as I told you, when you are creating an element, it basically consists of element node and text node, so it's better convert it to a text node. Okay, so now the next thing will just go ahead, and the last thing I'll show you now is, okay, before that, before we go on to the separate project, I'll just zoom the screen. I'll show you how regex works. Okay, so now we'll go to a site called as regex 101. This is the best site to practice regex. So suppose I have, hello, if my screen is visible, I don't know. Yep, my screen is visible. I am writing. document.myforms.reset not understood. Basically it's not my forms, it will reset all the forms. You have to just name the form which you want to reset on that whole function is, when the form is submitted, whatever you are giving the event. Hello, how are you? So in this, if I just write how, okay, so what regex means is you want to match your string with a particular syntax you are giving, okay, this pattern. So now there is a way of writing this pattern. Now for now I am just writing this how. I'll just write how. It is giving me an error here. Okay, I'll just write how. So it is matching and it is saying that it is existing in my string and it has found a match. So if I want my string to start with how, I have to just give this thing, and now your regular expression does not match the subject string. So now there are various things right here, reference. You can just refer to this if you want to learn regex in detail, like any character that, just let me zoom out, I am not able to scroll their website. Okay, so if I want to get any character except those in range of A or Z, I'll have to write like this. So now there are patterns available, okay, on the website. So if I want to check for email, now you can see this is the pattern for email. If you want to learn how you can write this pattern, you have to just reset for what. Okay, wait just a minute. So what I did here was, okay, just focus now. We did, okay, I'll just comment this reset now and I'll just go to my list again. So if you can see, what was happening was when I add this item to my list, the value is still here, okay, the value is still present in this input field. When I do reset, it resets the form and it will clear all the values and you will get an empty form. So I am doing this, you can see the form value has vanished from here. I am doing this, it has vanished from here. Regex is used to do pattern matching or search in a certain string, like you do string or includes. You can do a better way and find elements find the characters using regex. CRUD I don't want to show you edit and delete right now. That all CRUD operations you will learn in your advanced course. Okay, database connections, everything that is there, CRUD operations and everything is there in the advanced program. So where were we? Okay, so I'll just show you the basic. Where is the index file for this? Just do basic regex here. I'll just show you how you can match the string present or not. For that, what you have to do is, just a minute. Okay, for that what you will need is, I'll just load this up very quick. Okay, and in this, just go and write a string. Now I'll just write a very basics thing. Okay, what regex does is it will match the pattern, what the condition, with the string you pass. So what all you will need is, currently I'll need a string, so I'll take const string str and I'll write hello, how are you, and now I'll pass a pattern. Okay, now I can name it anything. I write it pattern, and the pattern, how to write a regex is between these two symbols. Usually I use it for comments, but when I'll write something into between this, it will become a regex pattern. So suppose I want to search whether this how word exists somewhere in this sentence. So how you can match these two things? How you can match these two things? Just a minute. Okay, so that is pattern dot test and string. I am passing string here. Now this should return me a value whether it's true or false. Let's see. Console.log pattern.test string. Now it has returned me true. So if I tell it that please start this value with start this sentence with this word, now it is going to return me as false. So similarly you can just copy paste a pattern from here. Let's have this pattern, and I am writing that pattern between this. Okay, so now we have this regex. Okay, so now we have this pattern. So if I am not writing, let's go back to our console. Let's put an email right here. Prasad @gmail.com. Now it is saying that your email string has matched this pattern. So if I am not writing anything, it is going to return me a false. It's called CRUD, create, remove, update and delete. Sorry, create, read, update and delete, not remove. Create, read, update and delete. Yep. So you can see you can achieve this. You can use the same thing to match in the form validation part the same way. You need to mention a string which you want to pass for validation, the pattern which it should match. Similarly, you can get patterns ready made for phone numbers and everything, and based on the value it returns, you can perform a function. Okay, so can you explain the function return? This I have not mastered the regex yet. I just know a few basic things. That is, this is like if you want to make sure that a particular regex starts with this value, that is this is also some alien text to me right now. I have not learnt this regex very much into deep. I just copy paste from the web all the patterns. Now this is the flags, global flags and all. That's all basics I know. Okay, so yep, we'll have a short 2-3 minutes break, and then we'll do the drag and drop thing, and then we'll take your doubts for exams and everything, and also assignment submission dates and all. I'll just explain it at the end. Just let me leave this. I'll get a setup ready for our project. Can have a small break till then. Drag and drop. What is drag and drop? Okay, so drag and drop is basically if you have seen some puzzles or some website, like you drag an element from one place and you place it somewhere else. Okay, so we are going to see how that can be done. So just let me have this real quick. Index.js. Yep, and now just let me load this page onto a live server. So yep, so for that basically we'll just go and see. First I'll explain you the drag and drop events. We have drag and drop events. Okay, so we have it right here. First of all, we need drag over, drag start, drag end, and on drop. So I'll just explain you what all things do. Just a minute. And also we'll need an image. So let me see an image from my local directory which we can use. Just a minute, hold on guys. This is going to be a very small code. Okay, so for that what we'll need is, yeah, we are writing from scratch. We're not taking anything from anywhere. I just need to put an image right here. So let me just copy paste and get one image in that directory real quick. Backgrounds, test, copy. Yep, so yep, we have an image right here. So now let's begin with the code. First let's get set up our HTML part. So now we are going to need two divs and we'll name it as zones. The first thing will be a drag zone and the second thing will be a drop zone. Okay, so just let's create the two divs. Div dot drag zone, and similarly we will have div dot drop zone. So now these are just the two divs I have created for now. Okay, nothing rocket science in this. This much clear till now? What I have done now, let's apply this CSS so you can actually see something on the web page. So just let me make it body background color is equal to okay, and now let's get hold of this drag zone and drop zone so it's visible. Okay, drag zone and drop zone, and on this I am just going to write some properties, drag zone and drop zone classes. Yep, and on this we'll write some properties. I'll just give it some height of 200 px. Okay, then a width of some 40%. Now it's not visible still, just hold on. Now I'll give some border of 2px solid black. Okay, now we have these two divs but I want them into a single line. Okay, let's fix their width. Okay, now we have these two squares, maybe a little small. Yep, now I want these two divs besides each other, so I'll just change the display property, display inline block. Yep, so now we have this besides each other. Okay, and inside this div we'll need one image, so I'll make another class called as div.image. Now this is just the HTML part, so it's okay if you're not understanding this part. Just a minute. Okay, so in this image I want to load that image which we have here, image thing, and so I'll do that also using CSS. You can directly do it using the image tag in HTML, but it's a better way. I have named it class as image background, and background, in that I'll pass the URL of my image, that is just test.jpg. put test.jpg. Okay, so now it is not going to be visible as of now because we need to specify the height and width of that image. height will keep 140 px. Now it's somewhat visible. We'll also give the width as 140 px. Now it's properly visible. I'll make the position to relative, so I can from left just move it 10 px, sorry, just move it 5 px. (140) and from top 5 px, just move it to the left and here. So we have this divs ready. Okay, this much we have the basic setup of a structure ready. These are the two divs. Okay, if you want a separate background for this, let me have a separate background for this. Okay, I have limited this image to this. You can just load the image and set it using the background property. There is resize, there is contain, cover, all those properties available, background size, background position. So you can just explore the CSS part of this property later. So if you see, it is okay. So let's focus on the JavaScript part right now. Okay, so now I have just zoom. I guess my screen is visible to you guys right now. Till now, have you understood? Like, this is just the basic setup. So now if you observe on this, okay, if I am trying to drag this image, it is not letting me, it is showing a blocked icon. That is because that is the default behavior of that HTML element. Okay, it won't let you drag. So to like we did in forms, we restricted its default behavior using the prevent default method. The same thing we are going to do here. So in this I am just going to use inline function calls, okay, to keep the JavaScript file just small, so it's better for you to understand. I'll just write the functions here. Okay, first of all, what we need to do is, we need to get the element called as on drag over. We have this, okay, on this we have, and then we'll go to a drop zone where it should allow us to drop this element, and I'll write a function here. The name of the function is allow drop, and it is going to take the event parameter. Now I have to assign it to a function, assign it here on which event it is going to happen. That is going to happen on, as we see, on drag over. On drag over, what it means is a dragged item being dragged over a valid drop target. Okay, so now this is the target and this is the source. So what I'll write is on drag over, what should happen is call this function allow drop. Okay, so now we'll just first of all we'll solve one problem, this restricting problem. So what I'll do is, I just go in my index file and I'll write function. What was the name of the function is allow drop. Index file function allow drop, and in this you have to just write one thing. This is going to take a parameter as event, which I'm writing this, which we are passing right here, this event parameter, which refers to this object, the whole object. Then I want to restrict it, prevents its default behavior, ev dot prevent default. Okay, so now we have restricted its prevent default behavior. So now if I go and try to drag drop, you can see that restricted icon is gone and we get this placeholder icon, a small rectangle. If it's visible in the mobile, and if it's visible in the mobile or not, we get the small icon. So we have solved one problem. Okay, so now we'll look at the second thing. Now there is two things where like we have to start the drag, and then we have to we have to drop it here. So what basically it does behind is, whenever you drag this element, you have to collect that ID of that element, like this image, and you have to store it inside a variable, and then you drop it here, you have to assign the variable to this element. Is the like logic clear what we are going to do? Is the logic clear, guys? What we are going to do is, when I hold on this element and drag it outside of this block, what it will do is, behind the scenes it will store this the ID of this variable in a separate variable, ID of this element in a separate variable, and when I drop this here, it is going to assign that ID to this element. Okay, that is the only logic, and it is just two more functions. First is to start the drag, and the second is to stop, like you have to drop this. Okay, so we'll go to the index file, and now we have to start the drag. So we'll get hold of this part, and we have drag start. Okay, now what drag start will do is, the user starts dragging an item. Okay, and the event handler is on drag start. So we'll just go here and write on drag start. What you want to call is a function called as drag start, which is again going to take the event parameter, which refers to this object. Okay, now we'll go to a JavaScript file again. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, guys. Everything. Yep. So we'll go to a JavaScript file, and then I'll write another function called as drag start. Just copy this, and again ev. Now what it is going to do is, it is going to store this into a variable. Okay, so let's see this. So for that, now what is the variable? I'll just declare an ID right here. Okay, this is the variable in which we are going to store this whatever element we are dragging. So this is the image, so I will just give this image an ID. Okay, ID will be drag element, because it is the element we are dragging. So I have given this ID. So what should happen is, first we'll see with an alert that whenever I am dragging this element of a drag element, it should alert me that is the drag element you are dragging. So let's do this, and first of all I'll store this into this. So I'll take this event, I'll go into the target property, and inside that I'll get the ID of it. Okay, so now we have this, and if I want to see if it's working or not, I'll just do an alert, and I will write ID. So now let's check this if it's working. Now the ID of this image is drag element, so I'm just trying to drag it, and you can see that we have a pop-up with the ID of drag element, which is specified right here. So till now our code is working fine. Okay, till now is it clear what we have done? First of all, we have just prevented the default behavior of that div, and then we have just stored the ID of the element we are dragging, and we are just showing a pop-up whether to check it's working or not. Okay, so now the last thing we need to do is, now we have the ID. Okay, we have this ID of image in this variable. Now what we want to do is, we want to put it here, right here in this element. So we will use a thing called as drop. Okay, there is one thing called as drop. An item is dropped on a valid drop target. So we'll just go here, that is the thing we need to call is on drop. So I'll call on drop. On drop we need to do a function. Okay, messed it up. Event one drop, and then I want to do the drop. I want to call the drop function and pass the event parameter again. I'll do drop and pass the event parameter again. Okay, so now we'll just go into the JavaScript file. This is not needed anymore. So function drop, and it is going to take again the EV parameter. So now what you have learned is you have to just target this, go into the target, get the target of that, and you have to append, like you want to add that element. So use the append thing, and what you want to add is document dot get element. Now what we are doing here is it is going to search through this document, find the element with the ID of this ID, and then it's going to append it in this object, the blank object. Okay, so let's see if this works. So yep, so if I just go and drop it here, you can see that we have removed it from here and we have appended it here. We are just doing it with plain vanilla JavaScript. No libraries are being used in this. Clear guys, this much what we did? I'll show you again. We have this element. Now I want to just drag it to this element. Now we have dragged it. No libraries, just this much of the HTML part and just these three functions of one lines. Is the logic and everything clear for this drag and drop? This is the very basic drag and drop functionality. Okay, great. So can you just hit the like button, like if you have liked the sessions till now, because we are done with the projects, like the basic projects, and then I'll be discussing about the exams, assignment, submission and everything. So if you have liked the session, please hit the like button, and those who are new to the Let's Upgrade family, please subscribe to us so you can get notifications for our new programs. Where you stored the image, it is just in this div class, which has div element which has the class of image, and I am loading the image using CSS. To drop it to the initial place, you need to write the extra code, that then it will go into some like complicated code. You have to again fetch the ID of that and you want to append it here. Still now this is just base. Okay, you want, what is vanilla JS is just when you write just pure JavaScript, it is called vanilla JS, nothing else. Okay, so yep, if you have liked the session, just hit on the like button, so I also get to know whether you have understood or liked the sessions. jQuery is just a library, a framework type, a small, which makes it easy for you guys to write JavaScript. Let's convert like button into blue. Yes, Vamsi, if possible please do that, so we know that we are doing a great job. ID was not in HTML part, so how get element by ID worked on ID? ID was right here, whose name it was, Akshay. If you see, I have given that image, like whatever I am dragging, right? When I pass this event object, what I explained was whatever you drag is an object. This image is a separate object, this div is a separate object. So when I pass click and drag this image becomes an object and is been passed as a parameter here. Okay, and I've stored this inside this ID variable, and I am calling this thing. Like if you want to see, if I'll console log, just let me clear this doubt once. Console log ev dot target. Okay, just let's drag this, and I'll just go to console. So see, you have console.log the target of this. The target, what is the target is this div, the whole div, and then I'm just traversing into this div and getting the id part, and hence I have written div.target.id, and it is just returning me this drag element part, and it is storing inside this variable. I'll just keep the code here for your reference. So yep guys, yes, you can drag and drop into this various divs. Like this is a one div, I can drag and drop it multiple divs. Like the code will be a little complex. Once again, okay, let's go through this part once again. Okay, now just focus on the code. First of all, we had these two divs, okay, this main divs. One is the drag zone, one is the drop zone. Okay, on this drag zone will be the element which we want to drag, and drop zone will be the place where we want to drag. Okay, then in this drag zone I have this image. I have written it like this. If you want another alternative, you can just use the image tag. Okay, you can just use the image tag. Image, it's not loading. Okay, you can just use the img tag and put the src right here and give the id and everything, and it is just going to work fine. Okay, so you can use it other way. So now in this image I have loaded the image via css, and then I have given it an id. So going step by step, first what we did was, by default the HTML won't allow you to drag and drop the element. So what we did was, we went to this place where we wanted to drop it, and we told it that please don't behave according to your default behavior and stop everything you do. Apart from this, if you want to disable it, there's a property called as draggable. You can just set it to true or false from right here from the HTML, but we have done it using JavaScript. So we have told it that please don't behave according to your default behavior. Then it has allowed us that drop functionality. Then we went and added this drag start to the place where we want to start the process of dragging this. Now this is the element, okay, that image. So when I am clicking on that thing, what I want is that object to be passed inside a function called as drag start. So whenever I call this function, on the element I click, this whole image tag is, the image div is passed in the ev right here, and then I traverse to the ev.target.id, and the id is drag element, and that drag element is stored into this id variable which I have declared here in the global scope. This much clear? So now we will go to the drop part. So right here we have, in the drop zone, I have added a event handler called onDrop, and which is going to call a drop function, which is again going to take the whole object whichever we are dropping, and the object is this image. So going to the function now, what we have done is, when you have the target this, you can just write append, and it is going to add it to that target object. Okay, so in this drop again I have passed the whole image object, that is the div, the whole div thing, and I am just appending the element, which is by fetching it via the id I have stored here globally, this id. Now this id currently holds draggable element, the value of draggable element. So now this is going to return me a div, right? This is going to return me a image div, which is I am going to append to this target of this blank object. ev means event. You can just write anything. If I want to write here some like this some, and I just need to make sure that this is matching, and your code will still work. So it is not a specific word, it is just a parameter. I keep it as ev. Okay, and one more small thing if you want to learn is, one more small thing if you want to learn about it is there is something called as local storage, which is this browser thing. If I even like sometimes it happens that if you want to store the variables, I'm just giving a quick intro of local storage and session storage. Local storage, what it will do is, even if you close the browser and again open the browser, the values are stored in your local storage, the storage of the browser. Okay, and session is once I close this tab, the values will vanish off. So now there are methods called as local storage dot set item, which is going to take, suppose I am logging a user and I am passing the value as Prasad. Now this value is going to be there even if I close and open the browser. Okay, so now if I just go and inspect element, and I'll do to get the key, I have to do set item. Similarly, there is get item, and I have to pass the key user. Just this is intro, you need not know this for the basics. It has returned me this. Similarly, you can store, like this can be used when you're creating login and logout functionality. You want to store the user ID in the was this any technical glitch? Everything working fine? Hello? Okay, I'll just upload this. Was it some issue? Let me just check once. Just hold on, guys. Okay, is it okay? Okay, so I have uploaded this thing. So also we have our GitHub repo right here. Let's upgrade. We have JavaScript essentials for those who want all the assignments for previous days also. Okay, so we have this day 1 to day 6, and today's notes will be uploaded. Today there is no assignments for you guys. Okay, no assignments, just start practicing whatever we have learnt. Okay, is the stream okay, guys? I am from Mumbai. So yep, so all the assignments are right here. Today there won't be any assignment, just go through all the things. I am not able to download it from there. Okay, so what you have to do is just don't click on the commit message. What is happening today? So just click on this folders day 1, and then you can get these assignments. Assignments are right here, and the code is also available. If I just go behind and go on the notes, all the code is available right here. So for the submission deadlines, just make okay, just the submission deadlines are, so now we are on day 7, the previous 2 days assignment deadlines. Okay, let's make it 3 days. Mods, if you are right there, mods, if you are right there, just make a note of this and circulate into the community as well. The day 4, 5 and 6 assignments, the deadline I am keeping it as till this Saturday. Like if there are assignments pending from you guys, you can submit day 4, 5 and 6 till Saturday, this Saturday. And if there's someone who has still not submitted day 1, 2, 3, you can submit it before tomorrow night. Okay, just submit it before tomorrow night. if you are still pending for day 1 to 3, the assignment form drop downs will be enabled after this session. So just make a note of this. Day 4, 5, 6 you can submit till Saturday, and day 1 to 3 the max deadline is tomorrow night. Sir, I joined yesterday. Shall I be eligible for assignment and exam? Yep, the deadlines are very simple. Day 1 to 3 you have to submit it before tomorrow night, and day 4, 5, 6 you have to submit it till Saturday. Okay, okay, just let me tell you the dates as well. Make a note of it, guys. So yep, exam mails and eligibility, will display a list of eligible students, and exam mails will be sent by 29th of July, which is going to be the coming Wednesday. Am I not audible? Am I audible? Am I audible, guys? Okay, so as the assignment deadlines I have already informed, exam mails, like mails for your exam with login IDs and passwords, will be sent by, okay, you want me to repeat it? Okay, just okay, stop spamming in the chat. Day 1 to 3 assignment deadlines till tomorrow night 12 AM max. Day 4, 5, 6 you can submit it by this Saturday night. Those, like, then we will see the database and check your assignments, and if you have submitted all the assignments and everything is fine and attendance is also there, then you will get mails with your login IDs and password to our exam portal on Wednesday, which is 29th of July. You will get the mails on by Wednesday max. Okay, and your exam will be scheduled on 2nd of August. Okay, your exam will be scheduled on 2nd of August. Today there is no assignment, guys. Pattern of exam, it is going to be MCQ exam. All the exam details will be mentioned in the mail. Okay, so don't worry about it. By Wednesday you will be getting all the mails, all the eligible students, and we will also display the eligibility list. Exam pattern, it is basically a MCQ exam, but exam pattern is, it is basically MCQ exam, but depending on the server you might also get a coding question. That is totally randomly dependent on the exam portal. So some students might get coding problems, some might not get it. Criteria for certificates is you need to score a minimum of 40% to pass the exam. Okay, so yep, that was all. I hope you have learned, not all, but you can say, you know, a little of JavaScript in this 7 days. Time on 2 August will be, we will circulate the mails, don't worry, like we will schedule it on Sunday maybe at 11 AM. Okay, you want a mini project before the exam? Do you want a mini project to try before the exam? There is no sample questions. It is not college, buddy. There are no sample questions. Whatever we have learned, and just explore, get some details. Okay, so I'll send you the project by tomorrow. Okay, I'll send the okay, so we will give us, I'll send you out small projects on your emails with the exam details, and till your exam is there, till 2nd August you can practice on that project. Okay, so by Wednesday you should be receiving your 3 things: your login IDs and password, a mini project for you guys. Batch 2 date we will announce on our website and on our community. So this is the community right here. All the updates regarding to JavaScript will be pinned inside this group. So if you are not here right now or yet, so I am just posting the links in the chat. You can just join it. Assignment submission deadline I have already explained. First 3 days assignment, if you have not submitted yet, submit it by tomorrow night, and the remaining 3 days you can submit it by Saturday midnight. Okay, possible upload one zip file all day. Okay, we can also do that. That is also very much possible. Let me do that also. Okay, I'll upload it here. JavaScript batch 1 and I'll upload it. I upload the whole zip here. Now this should be fine. Okay, all notes are uploaded here. So if you have liked our sessions and the way of teaching, please hit that like button. Also share this with your friends for our upcoming courses. So we have currently our blockchain batch running, Python batch running, and we are coming up with RPA, mean stack session. No, there is no session tomorrow. Make a course on React. So for React there is a premiere scheduled for tomorrow. You can go and check our YouTube channel. Okay, advanced course we are coming up around 10th of August. So we will just within 2 or 3 days we will get an official announcement from our side. Please be active in our community. All the updates will be pinned in the community and on the website. Our website is letsupgrade.in. You can get all the courses, all the essential programs are listed here, and all the premium courses are listed here. We are running AIML batch 1 and batch 2 is starting from 15 of August. Can I fill the attendance? Attendance link is in the YouTube description. No, advanced course won't be free. It will be having a minimal fee. Not much, it will be having a very minimal fee, because in case of, if you must have seen, on the first day we were having 2000 and then we have currently only 300 students with us. Okay, so to keep the student engaged and make them compulsory to complete the whole course on time, we will be attaching a very small minimal fee to our courses. So yep, soon you will see RPA in this and advanced section, and also the mean stack program will also be uploaded here. So you can just go and reserve your seats. Thank you, Shalini. Mini project, yep, I am going to send you mini projects by this Wednesday along with your mails. July 24th is just a basics, a quick overview of React in just 60 minutes. Yep, we are also coming up with DevOps and everything. If you want updates, just stay active in the community and this websites, so you can get all the updates whenever we do. And we are also coming up with our Let's Upgrade app very soon. How much score to pass? So it's just 40% passing percentage, and if you are not able to pass in the first exam, you will be eligible for a re-exam where you can try again. When we should submit the mini project you should submit before the exam. So if your exam mini project, you can submit till 2nd August night. Android app will be launched very soon. It is just in the last stage of development, so very soon it will be launched. Time duration, you will be getting 90 minutes to complete your exam from the time you start. Anytime between 11 to 3 p.m. you can start your exam. Any view course? Yep, view course we are just planning on view course, so maybe yep, you might also get a view course from us. So yep guys, that will be all for today. Thank you for all the 7 days, and I hope we have made you a intermediate developer in JavaScript, like all the beginners who didn't know what JavaScript was, or they were scared from using JavaScript. So yeah, yes, if you have liked the sessions, if you have not liked the video, just like it so we can get a count. Okay, so yep guys, thank you, bye bye, be safe, and we'll see you in the next course. If you are interested in learning Python, we also have our Python and blockchain the weekend batch going on. Yep, you will be needing a lot of practice, like take small things. Now like we have just saw the to do app, right? It was just adding this code right here. Okay, so now I'll just show you one more thing which you can do, this to do app, before we close this session. So you can so the way you should program is start adding one feature, a single feature, and test it out. So suppose what we are doing is just adding it to the list. So you can have another function which will when you click on that item, it will strike it out. Okay, so start with a small features and make a app out of that. Can you share your email ID? Nope, you can just reach out to me on this community, because I'll end up getting a lot of spam if I speak my email ID in this live session. React.js, it is in the pipeline, you will soon see it. So yep, guys, that would be all. So let me put some music for you all, and then we'll end this session. Okay, so yeah, bye everyone. Node.js, it will be covered in our mean stack program. Okay, MongoDB, Express, Angular, and Node. Android courses, very soon we are coming up with it. So if you have any friends, who want to learn programming in a very interactive manner and in live sessions, you can just bring them to our Let's Upgrade family. We are currently a family of around 70,000 students. Did you hired by any MNC? I am working at Let's Upgrade only, buddy. As usual, we extended. Yep, now it has become a usual thing. Attendance form, it is not loading. Just let me check it out. I'll just open it in front of you, and we have this attendance form here, and it is working fine. The attendance form is working fine. Mean stack is not going to be free. As I said, there will be a very minimum fee to the course. Okay, so yep guys, thank you, be safe, don't go outside of your home, and keep coding. Bye.